What's up guys, it's Rowan here from Smart TV, and in this video I'm going to share with you 3 tips that you can do over your summer holidays to get a head start for Year 12 so you can kick ass in 2018. So if you're in Year 12 right now, you're going to have your first set of assessments, your half-yearlies, in roughly about week 6 of term 2. So the first term of 2018, but term 2 of Year 12. And right now, that might seem like a fair way away, right? But let me tell you, as the term starts, those assessments are going to creep up on you very, very quickly, and they're going to hit you sort of like this. So that's why getting ahead and doing some work over the summer holidays is absolutely critical. But what on earth should you do? So step number 1 is you want to consolidate all of your knowledge from term 1 of Year 12. The reality is that the content and new content is going to come at you thick and fast when you start next year. And if you've got gaps and holes in your knowledge from all the material you've already covered, it's going to be even more challenging to stay up to date, to not fall behind, and to actually prepare for those half-yearlies and your first assessments. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure that you don't have any holes or gaps. And where we start with that is with your study notes. Now what often happens is, you get to the end of this term, first term of Year 12, and inevitably you start falling behind on your study notes. Now, if you don't get them up to scratch, you're going to have even more work to do at the wrong time. And that's going to be just before assessments, just before half-yearlies, and that's going to be really stressful. So what you want to do now over your summer holidays to consolidate, firstly, is to get ready and get up to date with all of your study notes. So complete all of your study notes for term 1 of Year 12 content. Nice and simple. But we need to go beyond that because we also want to make sure that there's no gaps and holes in your knowledge, because those weak areas that you might have now, it's going to get exposed next year as you get into your half-yearlies, your trials, and then your HSC. So you want to really consolidate that knowledge now, and the way that you can do that over your summer is to use something really, really simple, and it's called a traffic light system. How does it work? Well, print out your syllabus for each of your subjects, and yes, print it out. It's much more effective to actually do this with a printed copy. And I want you to get 3 highlighters: a red highlighter, a yellow highlighter, and a green highlighter. So, just like the colours of a traffic light. Now, for every single syllabus dot point that you've already covered, for not just Year 12, but also look at some of the key foundational concepts for Year 11 that you need to know. So for example, particularly for maths and sciences, that's going to be really important. And I want you to go through and read every dot point or every topic, and I want you to ask yourself, do I know this? Would I get full marks in this if I got a question on this? If that's the case, highlight it in green. If you read it and you sort of go, meh, like maybe I might get some of it right, but I'd probably lose some marks, get out, your yellow or orange highlighter and highlight it up. And finally, if you get to a dot point and you go, you got no freaking clue whatsoever, and you'd get a big fat 0 or pretty much nothing in it, get that red highlighter out and highlight it up red. Now what that's just done for you is it's really quickly prioritized the weak areas that you need to focus on. So in your study to consolidate over the summer, what you want to do, nice and simple, is you want to focus on all of the red first. Nail all of the red, then go to yellow/orange, and then eventually have a quick review over your green, just to make sure you really do know it. So, they're the 2 simple things you can do to consolidate your knowledge. Number 1, what you want to make sure you do is get all your study notes up to date. And number 2, you want to do a traffic light system to work out what on earth you're weak at and what areas you need to really double down and focus on. What else can you do? Well, the second overall thing I'm going to recommend that you guys do over your summer is to get ahead, to learn the new content for term 2 of Year 12. Now, over the last 8 years, I've probably interviewed now more than 2,000 students that got ATARs over 98. And one of the things that they constantly were telling me about was the fact that they would go ahead of their class. Now, there are a couple of reasons for why they did this. Number one, it meant that it was a little bit more challenging to teach themselves, so they'd remember it better. Number two, the reason they'd also do it is when they got to class, they could ask better questions. They could ask questions of the teacher that would elevate their knowledge more and give them a greater understanding of the material. The third and final reason, which is really, really important, is that ultimately, often when you're doing, you're preparing for your first set of assessments in Year 12, you're often still finishing new content literally right up until the exam or the assessment. So it means that you're having to both learn new content and revise simultaneously. And that's pretty challenging and not ideal. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to get ahead, and ideally you want to get ahead at least by 1 week. Now, I know plenty of students that would get ahead even further. They'd get ahead by a couple of weeks, sometimes even, crazily, an entire term. But ultimately, at a minimum, you want to try to work ahead by 1 week. Now, how do you do this? Really, really simply, once again, you've got to get that syllabus out, which is why having a printed version of the syllabus is really effective. You're going to be using it a lot over your summer holidays. What do? I want you to identify, okay, what are the dot points and the topics that you're likely to be taught in Term 2 of Year 12 starting in 2018. Then identify those dot points and actually plan out how many dot points you need to cover to get ahead. And then start making study notes. Review the content, understand it, and make those study notes so that when the term starts, you're at least 1 week ahead of the class for those subjects that you're doing. So that's the second step, guys, to make the most of your summer holidays. And that is, just as a quick refresh, to get at least 1 week ahead with your study notes and with your study so you can ask more effective questions in class and you're not having to revise and learn new content simultaneously in the lead up to your first set of assessments. Now, there's a third thing that I recommend that you do over your summer holidays, and this is really, really important. And that is to actually get some time to have a break and to chill out and relax. I mean, after all, it's Christmas, it's New Year's, it's a really amazing time to spend time with friends and family. Why is it important too, though? A lot of students that, go, yes, I'm going to get ahead over these summer holidays, and they work like crazy. The problem, though, is then by the time they get to, the beginning of Term 2, 2018, of HSC, they've hit a wall. They've completely burnt out, they've ran out of energy, and then when it really matters, they don't have the motivation and the energy to do the work. So you've got to take a break over these holidays. It's a really good opportunity to recharge, rejuvenate, because reality is HSC next year, 2018, it's going to be a big year. It's going to be a solid year, so you want to recharge your batteries. So whatever you do, make sure you take some time out over the summer holidays. Great, so there's 3 tips for you to make the most of your summer holidays, right? Number 1, we've got Consolidate. Number 2, we've got Go Ahead. And number 3, we've got Actually Take a Break. But what does that look like? How do you schedule that in to your holidays? Let's take a quick look at a couple of recommendations I have for you on how you can actually schedule it over the summer holidays. So one of my recommendations is, first of all, take the first 2 weeks of the summer holidays entirely off. You've got 6 weeks. It's plenty of time. The first 2 weeks, overlap with Christmas and New Year's. So just enjoy it, right? Have some fun, decompress from your first term of Year 12. Just relax, get healthy, get energized, and spend time with friends and family. After that 2 weeks, though, you've still got another 4 weeks or a month of time. So roughly the month of January. So my recommendation is, in January, that's where you want to do your bulk of your study. But what should that look like? So my first recommendation here is to spend at least 2 hours a day, Monday to Friday, across the 4 weeks. What that's going to mean is you're doing roughly 10 hours a week or 40 hours of study across the entirety of that month. Now, why 2 hours? Well, look, the reality is you can do more than that. You can do 4 or 6 hours and still have plenty of time left in the day to chill out and relax as well. You've also got the weekends to relax. So there's still going to be lots of relaxation time. But the reason I suggest 2 hours is that you want to start with something that you know that you're going to be able to stick to and complete consistently over the entire month. You might get super excited and go, I'm going to do 4 hours, and then you start doing the 4 hours and you only do it for 3 days, which ultimately then is not the best outcome. So you've got to know yourself and what you think you're capable of. I'd recommend though 2 hours if you think you're going to struggle to do it, because 2 hours is a good solid amount of time that's going to enable you to get stuck into some work, but at the same time not too overwhelming that you won't get started and can't keep it up consistently. Now my recommendation is do it in the morning, so do like a 9 to 11 a.m. Now why do I suggest that? Well, reality is that way you get it out of the way and you can just chill out and relax the rest of the day. In fact, I'd make a further suggestion here, which is that you're not allowed to relax and chill out and do what you love until you get that study done. Because otherwise, let's be frank, your tendency probably will be to sort of chill out in the mornings and say, yeah, I'm going to do it later, I'm going to do it later, I'm going to do it later, and then, of course, never actually do it. So I'd recommend do it 9 to 11 a.m. each morning, Monday to Friday, and pick one subject per day that you're going to work on. That way you've got 2 hours of solid, focused time that you can crunch into for that particular subject. So what that then looks like is really simple. 9 to 11, Monday to Friday, one subject a day. So guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and I'd love to help you and answer those questions in our next videos. I'd also love to hear about what you're going to be doing in your summer holidays to relax and chill out. Personally, myself, I'm going to be going to New Zealand with my wife. We're going to spend a couple of weeks there soaking up the sun in a number of beaches. So, I'm pretty white, so the reality is I'm probably going to come back looking like a lobster. So stay tuned for pretty red versions of me in future videos.